I think a fair amount of people have looked at the fact that the Browns really didn't face any loaded boxes on Sunday, and they've looked at the kind of defense they saw, and a lot of people have just, okay, they didn't put a lot of 8-man boxes out there, they being Cincinnati. This is on the running backs. I went back and I rewatched the offensive reps, specifically the offensive line. I honestly could count on a single hand how many times the running back got beyond the line of scrimmage before they were met by a defender. To me, that's about the offensive line.
Yeah.
And I don't think it helped things that Jack Conklin had an eye boo-boo, so old Corny Lucas was there at right tackle. But, I mean, I think there was one potential offensive lineman who had a good week one, and I do think it was Wyatt Teller. Even then, I wouldn't say it was a great week one.
Okay, so
I think everybody else was not good.
So PFF graded out Bitonio and Teller as the top 2 offensive players on the Browns. They were 1 and they were 2. Bitonio was the top. Teller was number 2. DeJuan Jones had the second lowest score in the entire NFL. I think Broderick Jones was the only one that got lower, but he was in the 20s, which is impossibly. It's so hard to end up in the 20s. Like Shador in his final preseason game was in the 20s. That's how to put proper perspective. That's what they think DeJuan Jones just did.
About Shador.
I know. I hated it when I said it, but we had to give the contept. I can't be American.
You're gonna have to look at the YouTube video and the misery when he had to say that.
Really, my face just gets drained as I have to do that. But everyone else, I mean, it was all horrible grades across the board.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, this is an overly simplistic way of looking at the offensive line because by and large, the offensive line just wasn't good enough. And I actually am surprised Joel got a good grade. I don't think Joel was very good. That's no disrespect to Joel. I thought if we're talking about just straight up pass fails, all right, we did that with Andre Schmidt, fail. I did that with the receivers. I don't care how many touchdowns you caught. If one of your drops turned into an interception and that was the difference, fail. When it comes to the offensive line, there's one guy that kind of gets a passing grade. It's Wyatt. And now, my concern is when you have that many professional offensive linemen that don't look good, is that week one? Is it you're getting back to the offensive line? Is it whatever? There's a lot of things that it could be. None of them you're going to know until we see more games. But I'll tell you, I'm going to say it one more time. It wasn't about the running backs on Sunday. The way this is set up with the Cleveland Browns, I know everybody thinks QUINSHON's just going to show up and be Nick Chubb. Guys, that is an unfair expectation.
We just don't know. We've never seen him play.
And he might be really good. You know what would make him even better? A offensive line that gets him an opportunity to see the hole before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
I mean, like you saw Travion Henderson just in like a close context there. You saw what he did with the Patriots in week one. It was like 6 carries for 30 yards.
Yep.
Like it was a very tiny sample size, but it's a very tiny number of carries. And if anything, if Judkins is able to play in week 2, that would be the estimate. I would expect that from the Browns, like a short amount of carries, not a bunch, and then we just kind of get this thing going.
Yeah, until QUINSHON is back to playing for multiple weeks in a row, or he's clear of the potential suspension and all that. I don't think it makes sense to tote him out there as some sort of savior. Do I think between the tackles you're going to be naturally better because I think QUINSHON is better there than your 2 change of pace backs? Yep. Mm-hmm. That being said, I really think the fix has to come up front. And I think what was so defeating watching everything back, and I'm really curious to get Lance Reisland's take on this at 6 because
Lance is great at this stuff.
He is the coach. I've always felt like to just have a good day at the offense that is on the ground, that is a offensive line based thing, where it doesn't matter who's running, you're going to have success. You just need 2 guys. Whether it's the left guard and left tackle, whether it's the right guard, right tackle, give me a center and a guard. You really just need 2 O-linemen in sync and playing really good football together to get it going. So it's not like this. There's a huge leap from where they were on Sunday to being a hell of a lot better. But I just continue to come back to, I think if QUINSHON runs behind that same offensive line this weekend, provided he makes his NFL debut, I'm gonna imagine he might have maybe 3 yards per carry. He's not going to be Nick Chubb 2.0, and I don't think we should put those expectations on him, which I do feel like I'm seeing a lot in social media, on our comments, on the YouTube comments. Like, he might be really good. The chances that he's going to be good without a really good offensive line performance in front of him, that's That's really only Nick Chubb. That's really only Christian McCaffrey. That's really only Aaron Jones when he was younger. It was,
it's
Derrick Henry.
It's Derrick Henry. Yes, those guys.
It is at any point, whoever the top 5 can get it by themselves kind of running backs. We shouldn't assume Quinshon's going to be that just because we liked him at Ohio State.
No, I mean, you're definitely right. It makes for a really tough projection moving forward. It almost feels like if you have the offensive line, and I felt so bad when Conklin went down initially, and it was just an eye poke, but it was like, oh no, we're barely into this game, and it seems like the offensive line is already starting to crumble.
It's another tough thing, by the way. You and I both know, you get poked in the eye, it really, really hurts. When he get poked in the eye, it's totally something that shuts you down for the day.
I'm surprised he missed as many plays.
No, I'm not. But here's the thing. From football parlance, you sound like a wuss if you miss the rest of the game with an eye poke.
Yeah, you do. I agree.
Until you've been poked in the damn eye by an NFL defensive lineman who gets his hand in your face. They've got giant sausage fingers, and their fingers can do just heinous things.
Yeah, but so Cornelius Lucas played 56 total snaps.
Oh, he wasn't good.
No, he was awful.
Yeah.
He was awful. And maybe that's the other side of that, too, is that Conklin wasn't looking good before this either. So maybe Conklin just realized he woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or I don't know what happened, but he was grading. He graded out horribly. He looked horribly. No part of it was justified, but that was, I don't know. That was surprising to me that he was just out as long as he was.
Do I think Quinshon can help? Yes, he was the number 35 pick in the draft for a reason, but I don't expect him single-handedly to save the Browns' running game. If this is the first week, if he does play this weekend, where are you with your expectations and how big of an impact he can have behind what you saw on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be 7 carries. I'm expecting a really light workload. Actually, we talked to Coach Riz about this on Sunday in the pregame show, and Coach Riz will join us at 6. The idea of is this possible? Is this something that he can even do? And Coach was like, the biggest thing for him was about pass protection. That was the big thing. Yep. Can he get pass protection down? Can he figure that out? Because he can run, obviously. It's Quinshon. He'll be able to run all day, every day. It's whether or not he can figure that part of the game out and do that and get up to speed quick enough.
So I actually think that's why the people who have called for Jerome Ford to lose his job or to be cut or whatever, why I would be shocked if it happened. One of the pass blocking is like the toughest thing for young running backs to pick up. It's why Jerome didn't see the field very early in his career, because Kevin Stefanski, with the way they play offense, really needs a running back that can go ahead and block. I think that's why Dylan Sampson got 7 carries. I think that's why Rocket Sanders got 3 carries. I think that's one of the reasons why Jerome is still here. He's developed into a functional blocker, whereas it's really hard to expect any running back, right, without that kind of reputation coming from college to all of a sudden be that guy.
Yeah, and so my expectations really, I don't think he's going to put on the cape and come save the day, and all of a sudden we'll have some explosive running output. I don't have that expectation. I agree with you with the offensive line and how suspect that was in week 1. But this is part of the Jerome Ford experience as well on top of this. We've known this about Jerome forever, and I know people made the suggestion that it was getting better last year and it wasn't just so boom or bust, but let's be honest about it. That's who Jerome was the day we met Jerome Ford, and it's who he still is, and that's okay.
And I think with Jerome specifically, I think where he gets market corrected, and blocking is where he can stand out just because the young guys are the young guys. But I think the way they've set this up is if you need to run between the tackles, well, Quinshon should be better at that at this point in his career than Jerome is.
For sure.
Well, Jerome's he's a change of pace back. Well, Dylan Sampson is a faster version, and a little smaller, but a faster version of what Jerome does. I still think Jerome's going to be one of those dudes we look up, and it's like, hey, played 10 years in the NFL and had a strong run. Maybe he actually does have a 1,000-yard season at some point. It's just, I think, given where his contract is and given who they put around him, I'd be really surprised if it's here. But as long as the rookies, there's still some sort of question about the blocking, Jerome's going to have a chance until that happens.
Yeah, I was really surprised how many people were just instantly like, all right, cut Jerome Ford. It's like there's more to the game than just what he's able to do as far as just when he's given the opportunities to actually run with the ball.
And my concern with this is, and this is another reason why I'm just tamping down the QUINSHON Judkins overload of hype, is he could end up playing this weekend and maybe having a nice game, and then the NFL could come down on him. So it's like, I don't know that I'm going to be comfortable counting on Quinshon to any level until we see multiple parts of this happen. Starts with the blocking, then goes with the actual running performance, and then it goes, hey, is the NFL going to suspend him? How long is it? Because I think from talking about him in the preseason, one of the things that I hated about the contract kerfuffle, and it's apparent now that's all that was, that it was just not agreeing to terms and understanding because of how much time Quinshon missed, that it made sense to not sign him till after cut down, and then you could do the roster thing of you get 2 games where you can get basically an exemption. But the whole reason why I hated it is that there's going to be a stop and start element, or there could be a stop and start element here where he can go out there and he can run for 50 yards against Baltimore, and then we don't see him for 6 games.
I know. I keep leaning on Mary Kay in this because Mary Kay, she's got some inside sources there, but she seems to really believe that things are going to go in Quinshon's favor. Like, if we just paid attention to the couple times I've talked to her and a couple times she's been in different spots here on the station, like, she really believes it's going to go, like Quinshon believes it's going to go in his right favor based off of the evidence that the NFL does have. So maybe they're looking at it glass half full, because that's just a nice way to look at it, but I'm kind of hoping that they end up being right there.
So I think, speaking of Mary Kay, she was kind of one of the lead, I would say propagators. That makes it seem like a movement or something. But she was one of the folks kind of pushing this idea after the loss on Sunday. And I think Jason Lloyd kind of had a similar thing. And it kind of perfectly sums up where I was, why I wasn't hellfire and brimstone yesterday in the loss, because I think it's interesting that there's still Browns fans who still feel that way, because so much of why I don't want to say nonchalant about Sunday, but I probably wasn't as mad once we got out of the game as I had been in most years when you lose, is I think the Browns are walking the line of trying to win while developing young players.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you get what happened on Sunday on top of everything else. And so I guess to hear Mary Kay say it on the Brown and Orange Talk podcast, to hear Jason say it in his piece, it was like, I think it's okay if the losses bug you, but in the end you go, well, Harold Fannin Jr. looked good. Dylan Sampson looked great in the pass game and looked like a real player.
Yep.
Carson Schlesinger had a day. There's a couple other guys, even Ronnie Hickman. I know he's not a rookie, but he's a young guy. Ronnie Hickman had an incredible day. Like, there were so many young players playing well on Sunday that to me, that's one of the 2 goals. As long as you're doing one of 2 things, as long as you're either winning or the young guys are showing up and developing, on some level, I have to be satiated as a fan who's seen this season for what I think it is since January.
Well, and why did most of the Deshaun Watson era, when it came crashing down, and really what I'm noting is last year more than anything, why did it suck? Because we didn't have a first-round pick, because we sent 6 different picks over to get Deshaun Watson, and so we didn't have things to get excited about when it came to the development side of football. And so this year, with a loaded draft class, there will be, if they're out of the postseason, you'll have reasons to watch just because you want to see what the young guys are doing and developing and getting better. Like, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. I think if it had been instead of Harold Fannin Jr., it was maybe Jerry Jeudy got all those targets. And Jerry's been really good, by the way. But and Jerry Jeudy got those targets. And instead of Dylan Sampson, it was Jerome Ford, who was the difference maker in the pass game.
Yeah, it's a different story.
I think my entire,
or maybe we'd just be like, Schlesinger was awesome, wasn't he? And that would be enough to get excited about.
I mean, it's interesting.
It would be enough to get excited about.
It's interesting. I don't think Mason Graham was all that good on Sunday for his first matchup. I got no panic for it because I just need him to play.
Yeah,
and every week, and it's not going to be the same guys every week. It might be with Fannin. I think Fannin might legitimately, because of their system.
I mean, that was an NFL record that he tied with catches by a rookie in week 1.
And he also had some heads-up plays, which tell you that he's kind of where he needs to be as a rookie. I think it could be Fannin every week. Maybe it will be Schlesinger every week, but I don't know it's going to be Sampson every week. I don't know it's going to be I don't know, it's going to be Mason Graham every week or this guy every week or that every guy. But it's about, over the course of 18 weeks, can you have enough consistency of who's showing up that by the end, even if you're 5-12, you can go, well, these 10 guys are clearly guys for the future and guys who probably are going to be even better in year two.
Yeah,
because if you can do it as a rookie, sky's the limit if you got health.
And that's part of it too, right? Is making sure we judge them as rookies. Because I feel like in the NFL sometimes we just put them up against their peers, the ones that are top 5 in the league, and it's like the expectation can't be that we look at Fannin and then say, well, he's not top 5 in the NFL after year 1, so what are we doing here? Like that's not a fair expectation.
Yeah, and but I do think the reaction to Sunday tells us that I don't know Browns fans at large are maybe understanding that that's the line you're walking. And if you are walking the line of winning versus playing young guys to develop them, it is going to lead to losses. It's not just at the kicker spot. Mm-hmm. When you go to the quarterback's probably going to have 1 or 2 extra bad games. And if he had if it was 5 years into his career, because that's how you get to be good, is you fail a little bit. And I think some of the pushback, some of the frustration, some of the, I will say, rage from Sunday tells me that not all Browns fans are there because they expect to win.
Yeah, well, I think that was it. I think,
and it might also have been the matchup that played into it, too.
I think the matchup was part of it. I think a lot of people just thought we beat the Bengals from 2018 to 2022, so we should beat them now. And I just think there was a lot of carryover and excitement. And it's week 1, and so people got wrapped up into it. And that's okay, and that's fine. Now we get to put the hard hats on, and we get to really kind of figure out this fact-finding mission that we've been talking about for this year.
All right, so I will pose a hypothetical. We're not to Baltimore yet. That'll be more tomorrow and Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, and that 12.5 spread that we got staring us down.
Let's say it's another super competitive game. The young guys are a big reason you're in the game.
Yeah.
And it's another fluky loss. It doesn't have to be Schmidt, because I think if it's Schmidt, people will lose their Schmidt. But
okay.
If it's...
massive win, by the way. I can say it right now. It's a massive win if you do that against the Ravens.
So but it will everybody agree? Because I tend to think because it's Baltimore and people don't expect to win, I think, yes, people will.
I think it'll go longer because I think as much credit as I gave the Browns for hanging in there against the Bengals, I also look at the Bengals as a better team than I think most people do. But no one questions how good everyone thinks the Ravens are. That's an across the board. We know Lamar Jackson. We know Baltimore is one of the best regular season teams in the NFL over the previous half decade, and so you'll get a bunch of credit for that.